Hey guys, Red Edinburgh here, and we are back with another reading from the SCP Foundation. I have to say that I am loving reading these for you guys. I mean, I know not a lot of people listen to these, but I like the SCP Foundation, you know, and I've never actually seen anyone attempt to go through all of them in order, just read them and then post them, because I don't know why, to be honest, but that is what I am going to do. eh? We are currently on to SCP-28, and it is called Knowledge. So, let's get into it, shall we? SCP-28, Knowledge. Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedures. No special means are needed to contain at this time, as SCP-28 has not shown any change in size, position, or shape during the entire period of its containment, but access must be restricted. Currently, SCP-28 is contained on site blank, as SCP-28 is not transportable by any known means. SCP-28 is sealed in a 6 by 6 by 3 meter or 20 by 20 by 10 foot concrete room with a single door, with 2 armed personnel stationed outside. Only authorized personnel are allowed exposure to SCP-28, and extreme care must be taken at all times. While SCP-28 is in and of itself harmless, the effect can be very damaging to the unprepared. See document EL-28-1125, which I'm guessing is further down. Yes. So yeah, we will get to 1125 in a second. Description. SCP-28 is located in an abandoned storage yard outside a copper mine in northern Michigan. 28 has no detectable physical presence of any kind, but its effect occurs in a 2.1 meter or 7 foot cube around what is commonly held as the center of SCP-28. All forms of scanning and testing in the area of SCP-28 have shown no abnormal readings. Adding or removing objects or attempting to remove dirt from under SCP-28 has no effect on altering the size or shape of SCP-28's area of effect, nor the onset or quality of the effect. Subjects entering SCP-28 are within 3 to 6 seconds struck by total and complete knowledge of a certain subject. This knowledge is thus far completely random in both size and usefulness, and sometimes goes unnoticed for extended periods of time. More profound knowledge generally has a stronger effect, with some cases expunged. See document EL-28-1125. This effect can be experienced multiple times by exiting and then re-entering SCP-28, but can result in increasingly strong migraines and dizziness after 2 exposures. SCP-28 came to the Foundation's attention after research into news reports of a local miner who submitted a design for a cold fusion reactor to the US Patents Office. Mr. Blank reported that it just came to me like a bolt out of the blue. News and subjects were suppressed and contained after discovery of SCP-28, and the reactor designs implemented in the containment of SCP-1995. Subsequent testing of SCP-28 has yielded mixed results. Document EL-28-1114. Partial Information Retrieval Log for 1-5 blank. Note: all knowledge is perfect, total, and eidetic. So, this is a list of some of the subjects that people have received by entering into SCP-28. Every phone book entry for New York City in 1998. How to redesign the internal combustion engine to run on human blood, using only pre-existing parts. Note: full redesign takes 4 hours and runs at higher efficiency than gasoline. Location of keys for a Buick LeSabre. The proper method of care for a mole rat colony. Origin and history of 12 SCP objects. Note: the main expunged. Family history of the Blackthorn family, located in London, England. Geological structure of the earth beneath Greenland, including several unknown caves and expunged. So, as you can see, some of them are technically more useful. I mean, would blood be considered a renewable resource? Maybe, if you want to, harvest human beings to run your bloody Ford Fusion. I don't know. Anyway. And then other ones, obviously, um, every phone book entry for New York City in 1998. That's very, very trivia, like, so between technically very useful, and I do mean technically, to benign. But now we are going on to the EL-28-1125 document log. E-112. Subject D-1182 was exposed to SCP-028. Subject began to cry and went into the fetal position, showing signs of high distress, unresponsive to questioning and outside stimulus for several days, lapsed into a catatonia shortly after, stating that this is not life. Subject passed into a coma and died shortly thereafter. COD was contributed to shock. E-127. Agent Blank accidentally exposed to SCP-028. Agent shows signs of sudden surprise and bemusement. When questioned, Agent requested a moment to gather my thoughts, please. After several seconds, Agent laughed, shook his head, and removed his service pistol from his holster. Agent then shot and wounded Dr. Blank, and killed Agents Blank and Blank before being restrained. Post-incident interrogation reveals Agent Blank had extensive knowledge of classified Foundation activities and several SCP objects that he had not been previously exposed to, including SCP-2669. Any Foundation personnel found to have entered SCP-28's area of effect are to be detained indefinitely. Document EL-28-1128 log. Experiment 189. Subject D-9843 was exposed to SCP-28 at blank 03-19 at 11:46. Examination of subject revealed abnormal respiratory actions. About 2 hours later. Questioning revealed subject had learned to recycle the carbon dioxide inside of his body. Repeated attempts to teach skill to other D-class personnel failed. Subject terminated. Autopsy reveals no abnormal organ formations. Research notes. Dr. Blank. Seriously, how the hell did you do that? So that was SCP-28. This is actually... I think this one is referenced quite a bit in stories and other SCPs. Simply because there's so much you can do with it. It's like the ultimate Deus Ex Machina. All you have to do is walk in and you get complete knowledge of a subject. Completely random subject. And it is, like we've seen, completely random. So someone just walking in and then coming out with something that could potentially be very damning to a specific set of people, or could help move along a certain plot. So But plus just the weird shit that you could do just with stories about SCP-28. You know, just pick a random subject, you know, and you just have complete knowledge of it. So now we are on to 29, Daughter of Shadows. SCP-29, Object Class Keter, Special Containment Procedures. SCP-29 is to be incarcerated in a Class 5 containment cell. She is to be allowed access to nothing of a physical nature. Her containment cell is to be placed behind a triple airlock to avoid her escape. As of Incident 2934-A, SCP-29 is no longer to be fed, as she does not appear to need sustenance to survive. There are to be 3 guards on duty at all times on her cell, and 2 guards on monitor duty. Floodlights have been installed in the walls of the containment chamber, and are to be on at all times. Once a month, the chamber is to be cleaned and checked for defects. Under absolutely no circumstances are any men to encounter SCP-29 in any manner, as any males who do encounter SCP-29 are to be held under Class 3 detainment for interviewing before termination. SCP-29 has requested a bed, denied, a blanket, denied, books, denied, clothes, denied. And then there is a little thing in italics. This is ridiculous. The girl can't even have clothes. We are not monsters. Let her cover herself. Dr. Erica Bowden. Dr. Bowden, you are granted permission to deliver clothes to SCP-29. Dr. Light. As of Incident 2953-B, anyone who has potential access to SCP-29 is required to first watch surveillance tape 29 Bowden as a reminder of threats involved with working with SCP items, and SCP-29 in particular. Description: SCP-29 appears to be a pubescent female of Asiatic Indian descent. She appears to suffer from alopecia universalis. Over 80% of her pigmentation is a true black, while the rest of her skin has a complete lack of melanin, to the point of albinism. Her eyes are also a dark black in colour, as opposed to a light black. SCP-29 has severe homicidal tendencies and has displayed a remarkable ability to use any item as a weapon. However, she has a severe compulsion against shedding blood, preferring instead to strangle her victims. SCP-29 has demonstrated dexterity and physical reactions 4 times as fast as the average human. SCP-29 has also displayed extensive resistance to damage of all forms. Both of these extra-human abilities are greatly hampered in the presence of bright or direct light, natural or artificial. In addition, any males who come within the presence of SCP-29 in an area defined by her current perception find themselves pliant to her will. Such males become willing to kill or even die for SCP-29. SCP-29 refers to herself as blank, which roughly translates to Daughter of Darkness, Daughter of Shadows, or Daughter of Night. Interviews with SCP-29 have been difficult to conduct due to SCP-29's constant attempts to kill or convert all who speak with her. Over her years of captivity, the black patches on her skin have increased in size. SCP-29 was first brought to the Foundation's attention by an agent working in rural India. An attempt on his life led him to a small cult of men who claimed to be thuggies in service to the daughter. Several weeks of investigation proved that they believed the world would be in its last years of the Kali Yuga, and that by sacrificing 1 million lives to the Daughter of Darkness, they could raise their goddess and end the world. They also believed that only sacrifices performed through strangulation added to this tally. Events led the agents to their mountain fortress, where he discovered SCP-29. After the loss of said agent, data expunged, which ended in our acquisition of SCP-29. Addendum: 7 years after her capture, SCP-29 began showing anomalous growths in her black pigmentation. When questioned about it, she claimed her followers were on the move once more. Investigation led us to a concentration of so-called thuggies and had escaped our initial foyer. After discovering that all of her followers were there for one of their holy days, a tactical airstrike was called in. When the first bomb dropped, SCP-29 woke from slumber, screaming at the top of her lungs. SCP-29 continued to scream for the next 4 hours, ranting and raving that they were killing her people. Since said event, the growth of black pigmentation has stopped completely. Also since said event, SCP-29 has redoubled her efforts to escape. SCP-2820 has been proposed as a possible method for neutralization should the situation worsen. So that was SCP-29, Daughter of Shadows. So I think we have time for one more, which is SCP-030, the Homunculus. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-030 is to be held at Site-17 within a modified human containment cell. Minor adaptations to accommodate its stature, such as an appropriately scaled workspace and chair, are to be included. Lighting within the cell may be altered upon request of SCP-030 to a maximum of 2000 lumens via a simple dimmer switch. Should the need to render SCP-030 inert arrive, staff may extinguish the lighting from the exterior switch and draw blackout curtains as necessary. Standard night vision equipment is available for observation of SCP-030 in its inert state. SCP-030 may request materials for personal research every 90 days. All previous requested materials are to be collected and destroyed prior to delivery of new materials. All materials are to be evaluated and screened by both research and security staff. SCP-030 is to be denied access to any modern scientific journals or texts, and fiction is to be restricted to works produced no later than 1623 CE to preserve the integrity of his innate knowledge. Staff wishing to consult with SCP-030 in writing are to place a formal request, document 30 RS/B, with the supervising researcher on duty. All correspondence is to be retained. Staff wishing to consult with SCP-030 in person are to submit a formal request to Site Management 30 RP/A 1730/A at least 30 days prior to their preferred consultation date. All consultations are to be recorded and retained. Senior research staff may request SCP-030 be temporarily removed from its containment for a maximum of 1 hour to provide observational insight into non-restricted materials or events within Site-17. Under no circumstances is SCP-030 to leave the confines of Site-17. Requests must be presented in person to Site Management and security staff at least 30 days prior to their preferred observational release date. All observational release events are to be recorded and retained. SCP-030 has been equipped with a tracking device, Inventory Control Code 3017-1, so its location within Site-17 may be determined precisely at any time. Description: SCP-030 appears as a hairless, genderless, grey-toned human 71 centimeters 28 inches in height and weighing 12.7 kilograms, 2 British stone in antiquated measure. Hey. Its solid blue eyes lack discernible iris or pupils and resemble small cut sapphires. SCP-030 possesses an androgynous voice with a pronounced English accent, not currently identifiable as specific to any modern region. It is able to converse, read and write in Ancient Greek, Latin, Italian, Spanish, English and Portuguese, as well as 2 additional languages that have not yet been identified, despite SCP-030's insistence that this should be common knowledge. SCP-030 has also demonstrated knowledge on physics, chemistry, astronomy, mathematics, and horticulture roughly equivalent to that of a 17th century CE academic. In addition, SCP-30 has demonstrated knowledge on these subjects along research lines that do not appear in the historical record. These alternative or entirely unknown approach to research in the natural sciences are one source of SCP-30's utility in consultation. SCP-30 remains active while a 15 lumen source of light or greater is within 1.5 meters or 15 feet. In the absence of light, SCP-30 becomes inert, apparently losing consciousness and showing no outward signs of life. Within 5 to 10 seconds of being re-exposed to light, SCP-30 becomes active once more, appearing to come out of a light slumber no matter how long the period of inactivity has been. SCP-30 does not appear to require these periods of inactivity as a human would require sleep, and has expressed a desire to remain active as often and for as long as possible. Biopsy analysis of SCP-30 remains inconclusive, while Clay's native to English counties of Kent, Surrey, and Greater London make up the majority of its structure. Traces of mandrake, Mandagora unificorum, lye, mercury, and human blood have been found on each sample taken. SCP-30 has expressed that a full exploratory surgery to determine its workings would potentially end its existence. Samples removed from SCP-30 do not regenerate, and sampling is currently discontinued to preserve its integrity. Although SCP-30 can be damaged, it does not appear to feel pain and will simply remold any portion of its anatomy that experiences deformation. Notably, SCP-30 cannot be molded directly by human hands, although any number of tools can be used to alter its surface. SCP-30 does not respirate, require any substance, and produces no waste, although it does infrequently request a bath. SCP-30 refers to itself as Ariel, and regularly requests that the staff do the same. Questions regarding how SCP-30 was created and by whom are routinely answered with seemingly rote statements. I have been asked to forget that bit of information. Terribly sorry. SCP-30 delivers this response in the same tone and cadence every time any question regarding its origins or creator are presented. Given its composition and location of origin, a link to the alchemists of Alagada is suspected. SCP-30 was discovered on the 12th of the 6th, blank, during a mandatory archaeological survey within London's Mortlake district, pending construction of a car park. It was buried approximately 2.7 meters or 9 feet below street level, contained in a small stone sarcophagus. The sarcophagus bore no markings and was assumed to be that of a deceased infant, as additional graves were discovered in the survey area. The sarcophagus lid was shattered upon excavation, exposing SCP-30 to daylight. Upon being struck by the sun's rays, SCP-30 aroused from its inert state to one of mild activity within a few seconds, stating, "Good afternoon," to the assembled construction team. A member of the Foundation's Greater London Recon Force was summoned within hours and took the specimen into custody without resistance. A limited number of witnesses were given amnestics and released. Addendum 1. Document 30C. Security logs for SCP-30. 14th of the 9th, blank. Tracking system installed for SCP-30. 21st of the 12th, blank. SCP-30 reports malfunction of its own tracking system. Repairs completed within 6 hours. SCP-30 offers to assist, but is refused for security purposes. 13th of the 3rd, blank. SCP-30 completes 18-week seminar on unknown language Alpha, Zephyr, and 5 staff researchers considered fluent. Lexicography transmitted to 05-blank. 2nd of the 7th, blank. While in consultation, researcher blank inadvertently makes several remarks photovoltaic technology. Consultation ended before the researcher could substantially elaborate. 12th of the 8th, blank. SCP-30 requests a supply of magnesium and indicates it intends to ignite samples to study the light produced. Request denied by researchers. 14th of the 11th, blank. Incident 30-1. Using only what appeared to be a standard potting soil, ginger, and a 72-gram sample of rutilized quartz, and a 23-centimeter length of coiled wire. SCP-30 produces a device or object capable of emitting notable levels of directed ultraviolet light through some unknown means. Device is confiscated. Effects not currently replicatable without direct intervention from SCP-30. Researchers currently in consultation to determine if this line of SCP-30's research will be permitted to continue. It is speculated that SCP-30 may be working towards an alternative and possibly anomalous manifestation of the photoelectric effect. After receiving only minimal information regarding its existence, all research by SCP-30 suspended and materials removed pending review. So, that was SCP-30, a tiny little clay scientist from the 16th century. Quite fun, isn't it? And I think that will be it. So that was SCP-28, 29, and 30. So, thank you guys so much for being here. If you liked it, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, because why not? It's free. And anyway, I'll see you guys in the next episode. But until then, bye.